Are your customers learning? Hi, I'm Brian Pombo. Welcome back to Brian J. Pombo Live. You know, it's really easy to get caught up with the day-to-day of your business. If you're a business owner, if you're an executive that runs the business, it's really easy to get lost in all the minutia of the day-to-day grind. And sometimes we don't realize that we're scaring away customers. And it's all because we aren't really paying attention to whether they're learning what they need to learn in order to make them the best customers possible. And you know what it takes. You know what it takes. You know who your best customers are. You knew the steps that they had to go through. If you step back and look, if you step back and have a conversation with them, you know the steps that it took them to go from point A to just finding out about you to point B, getting to know and like you and trust you, to becoming an ongoing customer and just eating everything that you have. There's a process, regardless of what business you're in. There's a process everyone goes through, from a brand new person that knows nothing about you to your top number one customer. How do you duplicate that over and over again? There's a whole bunch of ways to do that. We talk about this a whole lot here on this channel, talk about a whole lot on my website, brianjpombo.com. But, not only that, if you really want to know, you ought to check out my book, 9 Ways to Amazon Proof Your Business, at amazonproofbook.com. You get a free copy there. But regardless of that, a lot of this comes back to learning. Honestly, it all comes back to learning, and you have to think back to when you were in school. Did you learn best in that environment? And if so, do you think you were typical? Or have you come to the conclusion that most people have at some point in their life, that everyone learns in a different way? Some people learn from a book. Some people learn better on their own. Some people learn better in a team environment. I'll give you a great example out of my life today. So I got to take my son in. He is taking a free week-long class of jiu-jitsu. Okay, he's having a free trial where he gets to try out this class for a week, and they have it going on certain days. You could pick which days, or you could go every day to just kind of really get a full taste. So we're taking him for as many days as we can, and he's really getting a kick out of it. But it reminded me of growing up and being thrown into some sports. And in some cases, there was a whole lot of help, a lot of one-on-one help, where they take you from point A to point B and take you all through the process. And for example, when I played baseball, my dad knew about baseball, and we had watched baseball. We had talked about the theory. He even bought me that book I've shown on here before, that little one on Little League, step-by-step process of how to do every last step and how to really understand the game. And that was something that appealed to me, is a lot of one-on-one attention. And I gotta know where I'm going and what the point is behind it and everything else before I can just jump in. Well, this class, the way they handle it is they already have the class already going, and they just toss you in with everybody. And they kind of say, okay, now we're doing this, but they don't, there's no context. It's all, okay, you get the guy down on the ground, you do this, okay, go try it. Which is great for a lot of people. My son eats it up. He loves being thrown into the fire like that. Me, I would have clammed up and fallen over on the ground. It's not because I'm a weenie or I'm a wimp. It's just my brain doesn't work that way. I don't function in the game quite like that. Especially not for a physical activity. For some reason, that my mind just can't wrap its mind around that. I would just fall apart. I just can't handle that. And so watching him, it was really interesting watching my own reaction as he's going through this process. And he's more than willing to make the mistakes and look like a complete newbie and everything, and because that's his personality and that's his learning style. And everyone has a different learning style. And so you have to think in your mind, The learning process that you're taking your customer through, is it intentional? Is it planned from beginning to middle to end? Do you have a different point for everyone to come in on? And not only that, do you have different versions so that people that learn in different ways are allowed to learn in those different ways? Some people learn audibly, some people are very visual, some people have to get their hands into it. You know, there's all these different, and there's different terminology for this. A great book on that is, let me see if I have it up here. I think I actually have an audio book version of it somewhere. Oh yeah, The Way They Learn. Hold on one second, let me get this. This is completely unplanned. Here you go. Here you go. You're seeing this stuff in action. Because this was an interesting one. This is an older book. This came out, I believe, in the 90s. Yeah. This is The Way They Learn by Cynthia Ulrich Tobias. All right, this happens to be the unabridged audio version of it. And it's pretty good because it talks about personality theory, and also it covers kind of the main learning styles. That they tend to say there's about 4 main learning styles. But here's my question to you. Are you hitting on all those in your business? Do you have an information process? Even if you're selling physical items, even if you're selling a service, do you have a way for people to learn more about it so that they can introduce themselves at their own speed to what you're offering? If you don't, and I don't even have that, the things we have set up at brianjpombo.com aren't even at that level yet. In the process of doing it, I've been able to help other companies be able to do that, and I could probably work with you at the same time. Go check out my book first, though. 9 Ways to Amazon-Proof Your Business. That's kind of a primer. If you think that we'd be a good fit to work together, contact me. There's no promises. There's only specific types of people that I work with. But go check that out, AmazonProofBook.com. We'll be back tomorrow with another tip. We either talk about a principle, a strategy, or a tactic to help explode your business. We'll see you tomorrow. You have a great night. In the meantime, get out there and let the magic happen.